Hi guys! Ngayon po, magbabasa po kami ng storybook. Title is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Like my dress is Snow White.
Okay. Go. Once upon a time, there lived a princess who was as white as snow.
White.
Her name was Snow White. She lived with her stepmother,
Stepmother who had a magical mirror.
One day,
The queen asked the mirror,
mirror, mirror on the wall,
who's
the
the
fairest of
fairest
all?
of all? The magical mirror that always told up the truth replied is Snow White. In the terrible rage, the queen called for the huntsman. She ordered him take Snow White
into a forest and
kill her. The
huntsman
felt
very sorry
for the little girl. He did not
kill Snow White, but left her dead inside the woods. Poor Snow White, after much wandering in the dark woods, she suddenly saw strange clouds among the trees. She went near the clouds and knocked at the door. But when nobody answered, she opened the door and went inside. Inside the house, Snow White found everything to be very dirty. She cleaned the house and arranged the 7 little beds she found there. Snow White was so tired by now that she soon fell into a deep sleep. The cottage belonged to 7 dwarfs. When they came home in the evening, they were shocked to find everything so clean. They looked into the bedroom and saw
Snow White asleep.
that in the past, the wicked queen
Look in her mirror
and again asked,
Mirror,
Mirror on the wall, whose favorite of all? Snow White, the mirror replied. The queen trembled with anger and decided to kill Snow White herself. The wicked queen, with her magical powers, disguised herself into a witch. She gathered a few delicious looking apples and went to the dwarf's cottage. The apples were full of poisons. The wicked queen offered a poisoned apple to Snow White. Snow White was tempted to see the delicious looking apples. She took the apples and beat it. At once, Snow White was affected by the poison and fell on the floor in a deep sleep. When the 7 dwarfs returned home, they found Snow White asleep on the floor as though she was dead. They became very sad. They placed Snow White on a bed with some roses and carried her to a peaceful place in the forest. Not long after this, a prince came riding by and saw Snow White. charmed by her beauty. He bent and kissed her gently. Snow White walked from her deep sleep to see their beloved Snow White alive. The seven dwarfs jumped and shouted with joy. The prince married the beautiful Snow White and they lived happily after.
Bye guys!
Toy Story 3, The Fancy Dress Party. Bonnie was very excited. She'd been invited to her first fancy dress birthday party. At the kitchen table sat all of Bonnie's favorite toys. They watched as she prepared her rucksack. "Do you like my bows?" Bonnie asked her toys. She was wearing a dress covered in ribbons. "I can't wait to go to the party," she told them. She placed a bow on the table, smiling happily. "Look what I made for you! Isn't it beautiful?" "Bonnie!" came a cry from the front door. "We're going shopping! Can I keep my costume on, Mommy?" she shouted back, running from the room. The toys waited until Bonnie was out of sight and then came to life. "Hey, who is this bow for?" asked Jessie. "She was talking to me," insisted Buttercup the unicorn. "Wrong. Bonnie's taking me to the party," Mr. Pricklepants the hedgehog told them firmly. "Calm down, folks," said Woody. "Why don't we all try the bow and see who suits its best?" The toys agreed it was a great idea. Rex tried it on first, placing it round his neck and twirling. "Do I look nice?" "You're so funny," giggled Jessie. Next, Mr. Pricklepants pinned the bow to his dungarees. "I look like a clown," he mumbled. Jessie placed the bow on top of her cowboy hat. "Oh, it's too big for me," she admitted. "I'm sure I'll be perfect on me, though," said Buttercup. But the bow fell down over his eyes. Finally, the aliens wandered over and lifted the bow above their heads in fascination. "No!" laughed Woody. "You're supposed to wear it," he explained. Eventually, the toys gave up. The bow could be for any one of them. "We just have to wait for Bonnie to tell us who the lucky toy is," Woody said, balancing the bow carefully on his head. A door slammed and the toys hurried back into their seated positions, back against Mugs at the table. "I'll be in the kitchen, Mom," Bonnie yelled. The door swung open and she rushed in to find her beloved toys all sat waiting for her. She tipped her rucksack upside down on the table and a huge pile of multicolored balls tumbled out. "I made balls for everyone," she cheered. "You're all coming to the party. Mom's going to help me carry some of you in her handbag." And with that, she fixed a different bow to every toy so they could all enjoy without any being left behind. The end. Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Can I ask you some questions?
Okay.
What's the title of the story?
Toy Story 3, The Acting Lesson.
What are the names of the characters mentioned in the story?
Buttercup, Bonnie, Mr. Pricklepants, Rex, and Buzz, and Jessie.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Ito natin ngayon ang bisikleta ko. May pasalubong sa akin si Kuya Pedring. Isa itong bisikleta. Mabilis tumakbo ang bisikleta ko. Ngunit hindi ko iniingatan. Lagi itong naiiwan sa daan. Iba't ibang bata ang sumasakay dito. Hindi nagtagal ay nasira ito. Wala na ang bisikleta ko. Sino ang may bisikleta? Ako. Ako kasi dyan. Pwedeng ikaw, pwedeng ako. Kung yan tulad mo sa kwento. Sino ang nagbigay ng bisikleta? Si Kuya Pedring. Pedring, yan. Anong ginawa niya? Bakit nasira yung bisikleta?
Gamit ng mga bata.
Hindi niya po
Hindi niya po.
Yun, very good. Ingatan. Anong dapat gawin para hindi agad masisira yung mga gamit? Ano gagawin mo para hindi masira ang gamit?
Doon sa loob.
Tapos,
Sado ko yung
anong gagawin pa?
yan na.
Iingatan. Diba? Pag may gamit, tatago agad. Anong natutunan mo sa kwento? Kapag may nagregalo, anong gagawin pag nagregalo? Papabayaan o iingatan? Ingatan. Sabi mo nga, lakas.
Ingatan.
Very good.
Bon's cat. Bon has a cat. It is on the bed. It can nap. Can sit. Oh no! Says Bon. The cat fell off the bed. Is the cat sad? No. It is on the mat. Who has a pet? Pam. What is her pet? Her pet is a cat. Why did Pam say, oh no? Because she was worried. Why did she feel this way? Because her cat may be hurt. How do we know that the cat is okay? Because it is on the mat. Ang aking pamilya. Ako si John Mark J.M. Ang tawag sa akin, panganay sa magkapatid. Mataas na ang sikat ng araw nang magising ako. Alas 9 na pala. Kailangan kong magligpit at baka darating na ang aking inay at itay. Dinala ng aking inay ang tatay sa hospital para mapatingin ang aking tatay. Inalagaan ko aking kapatid habang wala ang aking mga magulang. Tumawag ang aking nanay at sinabi niya kailangan masalinan ng dugo ang aking tatay. Hindi ako mapakali sa araw na iyon dahil alam kong uuwi pa din ang aking tatay. Nagtagal sila ng 4 na araw sa ospital upang umasa kaming magkapatid na darating na sila sa araw na iyon at gumawa pa kami ng welcome back Papa. Pero isang napakalungkot na balita sa itinawag ng aking ina. Wala na raw ang aking tatay. Umiyak ako at niyakap ko ng mahigpit ang aking kapatid at nag-iyakan kami dalawa. Sadyang napakasakit mawalan ng isang ama ng tahanan.
Okay. Sino ang nagkukwento dito?
John Mark J.M. po.
Bakit dinala sa ospital ang kanyang tatay?
May sakit po.
Anong katangian ang meron ang tauhang ito?
ulirang bata po.
Kung ikaw si GM, ganito din ba ang mararamdaman mo?
Opo.
Ano ang naging damdamin, reaksyon tungkol sa nabasa mong kwento?
Sobrang napakalungkot at nakakaiyak po.
Very good.
Friends, ang alamat ng Tina. Si Tina
Hyra, the honest girl. Hyra found a wallet while she was in the market. Honest as she is, she gave it to the police. Little girl, where did you find this? Come, have a seat in my office. Oh, there is no name on it, said the police. We don't know whom to return this. Hyra answers, You're right. We need to return this tonight. Still broad daylight. I hope we can find the owner before midnight. What kind of girl is Hyra?
honest.
Why do you say that she is honest?
Dahil lagi kita ng wallet ko siya.
If you find something, are you going to return it?
Yes.
Why?
Dahil hindi naman ito sa akin.
The title of the story is Need Not Worry. Once there was an Indian father who owned 100 sheep. He happily gave away to his 10 sons. Later, a very strong calamity struck the town. The river overflowed in the gully, and the whole village became flooded. The storm surge swept away all the sheep that the father gave to one of his sons. The 10 sheep were eating and standing in the gully when the flood caught up with them. What a pity! The Indian father fell and caught him. Learning the incident, he hurried home to talk to each of his other sons and asked if they would be willing to give their brother even just one sheep. The first one said, I'm sorry, father, but I bought a new saddle. I need the wool from all my sheep to pay for it. I'm sorry, father, my wife is counting on the sheep. The wool from all my sheep will be just enough to buy the coat I need, explained the second son. The third son said, I'm sorry, father, my wife is weaving a blanket, so she needs the wool from all my sheep. One by one, the remaining sons refused to share or give their brother a single sheep. All of them said they were in need. The father went to his last son, believing that he too would not give away any of his sheep. But as the Indian father told his last son that his brother lost all his sheep, his son's eyes started to fill with tears. He embraced his father and said, You need not worry, father. I will be willing to give what he needs. Let's take off my fattest sheep and bring them into his corral. I want to see and embrace my brother, an unfortunate one, he added. The doughty father, in his sadness, wept for 8 of his sons. Those 8 had built a fence around themselves. With the fence of greed, they all agreed they could not give a single sheep. They were all in need. Only one son helped his unfortunate brother. This kind son was blessed for being loving and selfless. His life was filled with love and happiness.
How many sheep did the ancient father have?
100 sheep.
What happened in the village?
A very strong calamity struck the town and the village became flooded.
How many children the Indian father had?
10 sons.
What is the title of the story?
Need not worry.
Playing catch. Kate and their brother Jake like to play catch. They play with softball, footballs, and tennis balls. They toss the balls back and forth in the yard all the time. Sometimes they go to park to have more space for throwing the balls farther. When it is raining outside, they play in the basement. They use tennis ball because it bounces off the basement walls. Jake is going to soccer camp for a week this summer. Kate is sad because she won't have anyone to play catch while he is gone. The week before Jake leaves, they go to the park together. There is a girl tossing a ball in the air by herself. Kate and Jake invite her to play with them. Her name is Brooke. Kate is happy now that she has a new friend to play catch while her brother is at camp.
Who is the main character in the story?
Kate and Jake.
What are the sports that they love to play?
Softball, tennis ball, and football.
Where do they play if it's raining?
In the basement.
Why Kate is sad?
Because Jake is going to soccer camp for a week.
Who is new friend of Kate?
Brooke.
A zoo trip. Maddie and John were excited about their trip to the zoo with their grandpa. As they arrived on a sunny summer day, they talked about what animal they should see first. I want to see the giraffes, Maddie said. Giraffes were her favorite animal. Well, I really want to go see the reptiles, John stated. Maddie got a little angry. You always do what you want to do, John. I don't want to see the reptiles. They scare me. Grandpa smiled. Children, we will have time to see the giraffes, the reptiles, and my favorite, the monkeys. The children laughed. The trio began to walking down the path, where on the right they saw large elephant showering himself with his trunk. Wow! John exclaimed. After a few minutes, the three kept walking on their left. They came to more animals. Cheetahs! Their coats are so pretty, Maddie said. As the day went, Maddie and John and Grandpa walked all over the zoo, having a great time seeing all the animals. On their way out, Grandpa asked, Okay, what was the best part? Was it the giraffes, the reptiles, the monkeys? The children thought for a moment. Maddie began. Grandpa, the best part wasn't any of the animals. The best part was seeing them with you. The end.
Who are the main character in the story?
Maddie, John, and Grandpa.
What did Grandpa want to see when they arrived?
The monkeys.
Where does this story take place?
At the zoo.
Why doesn't Maddie want to see the reptiles?
Because she's scared at them.
Good day, teacher. Today I'm going to read the story about Clara at home with the way. Totoo din una, Clara the caravan was a friend. With Clara being towed by the family car, they went to stay at the seaside, in camping parks, forests, and the woods. I like going to bed in Clara's pull-down banks, said Todd. I like keeping all our toys in Clara's locker, said Una. But it will soon be time for us to go back to school, said Todd. We will miss being in Clara, said Una. They felt sad about that. Cheer up, said Mom. Clara will be taking us to Uncle Tony's wedding this weekend. Uncle Tony lived in an apartment block. In the grounds was a big garden, and in the garden was a marquee, like a big tent. This is for our wedding party, said Uncle Tony. You can put Clara in here. It was a nice wedding, but being with Clara made it even nicer. I do like our caravan, said Sally, Uncle Tony's wife. It must be such a fun staying inside. Come and see us, said Mom. Then you can stay in Clara too. Can we stay in Clara? Asked Una. When we go home, I mean. That is a good idea, said Mom. So when she is not taking them on trips to the seaside, forest, or camping parks, Clara is a playroom for Una and Todd, where they can invite friends. There's always room for visitors. Being with Clara is as much fun at home as when we go away, said Todd. She is a real friend.
Based on the story that you read, what is the title of the story?
Clara at Home in the Way.
Who are the characters of the story?
Clara, Todd and Una and their mom, Uncle Tony and Sally.
Who is Clara?
Clara is their bunny.
Why Todd and Una thought Clara as a friend?
Aside from being a band that takes them to camping parks, forests, and seaside, Clara is also a playroom for Una and Todd.
Or there lived Abraham, a very good man. One day God spoke to Abraham, leave your home and move to a place I will show you. I will make you the father of a great nation. Abraham obeyed, and God led Abraham and his people to a place called Canaan. One day, Abraham and his nephew, that father, ways got settled in a wicked city called Sodom. Then God spoke to Abraham again, and he told him that he will give the land of Canaan to Abraham. Descendants, God also promised him a son. Abraham trusted that God would keep his promise. A few years later, 3 angels disguised as a stranger come to Abraham and Sarah. Abraham welcomed them. There the visitor told Abraham that Sarah will have a baby son in 9 months. Time Sarah heard this and laughed. She was 90 years old. But nothing was impossible with God. Sure enough, after 9 months, Abram and Sarah had a child in their old age. How happy they were when the baby son was born, named the baby son Isaac, which means laughter. Sometimes later, God asked Abraham to sacrifice his only son to him. Abraham obeyed God and took Isaac to the altar. When he held the knife over Isaac, God stopped him. God was happy that Abraham figured him. Then God said, "From now on, I will bless your family from generation after generation."
Oh, whose story is that?
Abraham.
What land what land the Lord gave Abraham?
Canaan.
What is the name of son of Abraham?
Isaac.
How old Sarah when he gets son?
90.
Did Abraham sacrifice his son?
No, but because he stopped God.
The Clumsy Prince. Colin was the clumsiest prince in the kingdom. Other princes fought like dragons. Colin fell over them. Other princes battered villains. Colin bumped into them. One day, He tripped in front of a sad princess. She thought he was so funny, she wanted to marry him on the spot. Are you princely enough for my daughter? Her father had other ideas. He gave Colin 3 tests that he knew Colin would not pass. First, Colin had to show how polite he could be, but he was so busy talking politely to the queen that he didn't see the butler. Next, he had to take the princess out, but somehow he managed to lose the royal boat. Then he had to ride the royal horse like a prince. He rides like a clown, says the king. He must leave the palace tomorrow. That night, Colin couldn't sleep. Suddenly, he heard a scream. It was the princess. Colin jumped. What was going on? Was someone stealing the princess? He leaned out of his window and sent a flower pot flying, straight onto the head of the man stealing the princess. The princess thief fell to the ground with a thud. Colin raced from the tower and swept up the princess. The king and queen raced out too. What's going on? Cried the king. What has clumsy Colin done now? He rescued me, said the princess. Really? Said the king. Really? He said. The king smiled. Well, the reward for rescuing a princess is to marry her, he said. So Colin lived clumsily but happily ever after. The end.
Who is the main character?
The main character of the story is Colin.
What is Colin's personality?
Colin's personality is clumsy.
How many tests did the king give?
The king gave 3 tests.
Did Colin pass the test?
No, he did not pass the test.
When someone was stealing the princess, did Colin save her?
Yes.
Submarine. The silver submarine is under the sea. It wanted to chase the shark, the seahorse, and the seals. The silver submarine has gone down the sea, where there are plenty of starfish and squids, and even seals.
Uno, what is the submarine color?
Silver.
When submarine goes down the sea, what sea creature they find?
Shark, seahorse, and seals, and squid, and starfish, and eels.
Okay. Patingin ang binasa mo.
Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Goldilocks. She went for a walk in the forest. Pretty soon, she came upon a house. She knocked, and when no one answered, she walked right in. At the table in the kitchen, there were 3 bowls of porridge. Goldilocks was hungry. She tasted the porridge from the first bowl. This porridge is too hot, she exclaimed. So she tasted the porridge from the second bowl. This porridge is too cold, she said. So she tasted the last bowl of porridge. This porridge is just right, she said happily, and she ate it all up. After she'd eaten the 3 bears' breakfast, she decided she was feeling a little tired. So she walked into the living room, where she saw 3 chairs. Goldilocks sat in the first chair to rest. This chair is too big, she exclaimed. So she sat in the second chair. This chair is too big too, she whined. So she tried the last and smallest chair. This chair is just right, she sighed. But just as she settled down into the chair to rest, it broke into pieces. Goldilocks was very tired by this time. She went upstairs to the bedroom. She lay down in the first bed, but it was too hard. Then she lay in the second bed, but it was too soft. Then she lay down in the third bed, and it was just right. Goldilocks fell asleep. As she was sleeping, the three bears came home. "Someone's been eating my porridge," said the Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and the Baby Bear. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," growled the Papa Bear. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," said the Mama Bear. "Someone's been sitting in my chair and they've broken it to pieces," cried the Baby Bear. They decided to look around some more, and when they got upstairs to the bedroom, Papa Bear growled. "Someone's been sleeping in my bed," said the Mama Bear. Just then, Goldilocks woke up. She saw the three bears. She screamed help, she jumped and ran out. And she never returned to the home of the three bears. Number 1. Who are the main character in the story? Goldilocks and the three bears. Number 2. Who is the author of the story? The author of the story is Robert Saudet. Number 3. What are the good values you can get from the story? The moral of the story is the need to respect the privacy and the property of others. Thank you.